In this video, let's import some contact data with Apsona for Salesforce. With Apsona, you can import data into all Salesforce objects, native and custom. The import option is available under Tools for all Salesforce objects in Apsona. So let's get started. We click on Import and Update, and this is the import wizard. With this wizard, you can import new records. You can also choose to update existing ones. You can also do some duplicate matching and checking here. So Apsona detects duplicate records both within the CSV data and between the CSV data and the Salesforce database. And for this, you can choose the fields you wish to use for duplicate matching. So if we click the drop down, we can choose to reject data based on certain fields we choose. You can choose to update the database, that is, add new records and update existing ones. You can also choose to add with no checking, where Apsona will do the import and it does all the importing with no duplicate matching. So here let's click on reject and let's choose the fields for duplicate matching. If you click the drop down under match fields, you will see a few out of the box options. And if you do not see the fields you want to do the duplicate matching on, you can create new. So here we can set up a new match field set. And for this import, let's choose account name. Let's choose email. And let's get the first name and the last name as well. So we have 4 fields with which we want to do the duplicate matching. So now that is set up, and the data source, you can copy and paste data in the box below, or you can also choose a CSV file. So let's quickly look at the data. So this is the data I want to import. The first row is the header row and has field names in no particular order. And the field names need not be exact field names to the field names in Salesforce. So let's copy this, go back to Apsona and paste the data. The field separator is not a comma in this case, so we select tab. And the date format here is the US date format, so I'll keep this selected. And for the batch size, the data transfer to Salesforce occurs in batches, typically of 200 records. But there are situations when, while importing or deleting data, there is a malform trigger or other backend components within your Salesforce org that causes an error when handling batches of 200 records. So we have a workaround for that. If you change the batch size to 1 or 2, while the import will take longer, it accommodates a backend anomaly if it exists. So accordingly, you can change the batch size. You can also choose to not override with null values. That is, if you have existing data in the database in certain fields and you want to retain the data, you check this option. You can also choose to allow invalid pick list values. So if the CSV data has pick list values which are not available in Salesforce, Apsona will import them. And after the import, you can add them to the database. So we have step 1, which is providing the CSV data covered. Let's go and set up the mapping. Click on Next. And this is where we set up the field and the mapping. So we needed the 4 fields for duplicate matching. So last name is already done. Some of the fields you see have already been selected and mapped. This is because they are the exact field names in Salesforce. So last name was the exact field name, so it got mapped accordingly. And let's check for first name, and let's do the mapping here. So first name is mapped to first name, last name to last name, email to email, and we can also choose the account name here. This was one of the match fields. And here you see that Apsona is doing an automatic record linking with the parent object. And so with this, you can, while importing contacts, you can also choose the account name, and Apsona will do an automatic record linking. And with this feature, you do not have the need to have the VLOOKUP. So you can look up either by account name, account ID, or also any external ID fields and unique fields you have set up in the parent object. So I'm going to choose account name here. And now my data is ready. For the data errors, I can stop and show errors or choose to omit erroneous records. But let's validate this data. So now I click on next. And the data is getting validated. And it throws up all the errors. So here is the errors. If I click on any of them, I can do an interactive error correction right here. For example, it says test.test is not a valid email address, and so I can change it right away. And it also found some duplicates, and so it says in row 5 it is a duplicate of row 4, and so this was duplicates in the CSV data, and these were duplicates in the Salesforce database. They already exist. So here I can choose to do an interactive error correction, or I can download the errors and then clean it up and import it again. So I'm going to close this off, and now I'm going to omit erroneous records and click on next. So here the mapping has been done. Click on next, and my 35 new records will be imported, and the rejects are also showing here, and here is the field mapping. I can also choose to save the mapping and use it the next time around. So now the import will be done only when I click the import button. So now it is importing the records. The import is done, and the good practice is to download the echo back file. So it will give you we will see what it looks like. So let's click the download button, and this is the echo back file after the import. And here you can see the ones which were added and the ones which have been rejected. You also have the contact IDs for all the new contacts which have been added, and this is the echo back file. And you can use this echo back file if you have to import, if you had a single CSV dataset which had accounts and contacts. You can use the same dataset with the echo back file, using the same echo back file. So that's how easy it is to import with Apsona. Thank you for watching.